Well, thanks, Mike. You know, it means a lot coming from, someone like yourself. I know I'm not gonna get hired by any. No one's gonna hire me to do professional comic books ever. But I guess as long as I'm not completely embarrassing myself, I guess it's all right. I do appreciate it, though, sir. Precioso. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the positive words. Anime edits, thank you. Appreciate it.
Get 4 Arby's classic roast beef sandwiches for just $10. That's one for now, one after that, one to celebrate the first 2, and one more because that's how many 4 is. Arby's, we have the meat. One of these people uses the new Colgate Total Active Prevention System. Oh my God. Effective at fighting the
Brighten your day with breakfast space from Tropical Smoothie Cafe. You have traffic time now.
Wise man, have I ever taken life drawing classes? I have not, though I would like to. I do draw from life, meaning basically just pictures that I find often, although I would say probably not often enough. But in any kind of like official art kind of setting, no, I have not. And I would like to, though. Yeah, David Finch never took art classes. He just studied anatomy and comics and kept drawing. Yeah, and being in top cast students. I mean, see, that's kind of like being in an art school 24/7, but it's a job and you get paid and it's fun and it's awesome, but you're also in a place where you're learning constantly, being in a studio, like Mike's saying. So I couldn't imagine that anybody who's an artist and got like the inkling of skill in an environment like that, especially with Silvestri, in my opinion, isn't just gonna take off. You know, it seems like you kind of would have to, especially if you're like passionate about it. But yeah, like I said, that just seems like it's just being in an art class all the time.
Got to be metallic, new color. Plastic can also stand out. From black to bright.
Here it comes. Have I ever seen the Iwanigan YouTube channel? I haven't. It doesn't sound familiar.
Meet Milo, Lowe's all-new AI-powered home improvement helper. Before we go,
But yeah, no, sorry, I'm messaging my children's mom about a weird situation, so that's why I went quiet there for a second.
Cheat on cookies and cream with cookies and cream. Big on protein, low on sugar. What?
What's up, Shocula? Oh yeah, I saw that you said you did that. Why would they reject it? I've never dealt with them. I know that people do that, but would they reject it just because it's an unknown book? Is that how that works? be more than a quarter-inch thick. Really? It's interesting. That's weird. Like, why is that a criteria? Oh, for it to fit. I mean, all right, that's fair. I get it, but that's kind of a fun idea. It's never even occurred to me to do that, but I've never had a book that I thought would. Why would I? You know, it with what I do, but that's funny, man. I mean, why not? I actually kind of dig that idea. That's awesome. I think I'm over-rendering the shit out of this drawing, and I'm probably fucking it up. Maybe D in a jar, right? Maybe I should do that one. Like, I want a perfect 10 grade on my comic book about a severed cock in a jar. People are like, sir, we're going to reject this and we're going to call the authorities. Like, yeah. I know, I figured somebody would. I ordered my copy of the new Youngblood book just about an hour ago. One of my buddies, Ginger Bear, you know him. He got his and was sending me a couple of pictures of the interior of it. And just looking at some of the images in it, and it's so bad. It's so ridiculous how phoned in cheap it is, and yet to know that he thinks it's just the best thing he's ever done. It's unbelievably ridiculous. But I did order it, and I'm ordering it because I've got a channel and there's content to be made. Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I'm not shocked in the slightest. He's done better work. It's all pinups, no backgrounds, punch, scream, grimace, talk, grimace, punch, scream, no backgrounds anywhere. The coloring is amazing, but it's just, you're looking at it and going like, what is this? And you look at other people putting in so much work and effort to make something beautiful and neat and interesting. See, I think the concept of the book is interesting. I think put in the right hands of an incredible artist, it actually has the potential to be interesting. Cash grab. I mean, see, this is where I might, people might not believe me, but I believe that he does it with the intention to make good comics, because I believe that he loves comics and he loves making them. I don't doubt that in the slightest. It's just the slack-ass work he's doing is unbelievable. and his raging like I'm so good, I'm at the peak of everything that I've ever done. I'm a better Wolverine artist than Jim Lee. Grant, what's up, dude? Yeah, he's a little delusional. Yeah. But Grant, man, what's up, dude? Sean T. When will I be publishing my Thundercats Howard the Duck crossover erotica? Yes. I gotta get that on the schedule. Because how could I not? That is funny.
Long day on the road, and you're scavenging for scraps like some roadside raccoon.
Great idea. Howard the Duck holding the Sword of Omens. That'd be funny. You know, the only version of Howard the Duck that I honestly know is the movie, which I unapologetically love. I'm aware of the books, obviously, but I've never seen them, and I kind of flipped through parts of them once, and I'm like, you probably had to be there to, like, get it, and, you know, it just wasn't for me. But the movie, I know it's embarrassing to say, but I actually super love it. I find it unironically entertaining as hell. Space Turnip and Dr. Bonner, those villains in Howard the Duck? I've never. It's funny. Sean, how are things going? I mean, that's a hard question to ask me right now. Things could be better, but soldiering on. Just gotta keep swimming, right? Because what else can you do? I mean, is Chuck gonna ink all of these? I, I think so. Um, I mean, he's welcome to ink anything and everything that he wants to, but this is all kind of on his, as long as he's interested and, having fun and, he's not obviously beholden to anything. Um, and I just consider myself fortunate every step of the way that I have his involvement as much as he wants to be. So, I hope so, but as I'm kind of discovering, and I mean, I know this isn't anything that any of us don't know, but existence can change on a dime one day, and you don't know. You don't know how or why. It just suddenly everything flips, and you're like, oh, well, now things are going this direction. So he's done several. He's got several in hand. I've got several more to go. Um, you know, I'm just fortunate at every step of the way for his involvement as much as he wants to be involved. Sorry, guys, I'm having a text conversation with the ex-wife about concerning the boys, so I'm kind of vaguely distracted. Um, Thanks, Shocula. My inking is okay. Um, it's certainly a different vibe than what Chuck does, but Chuck intentionally and specifically brings his own kind of style and vibe to it, of course. Um, and he makes some choices that I wouldn't, but the result is this unique art that's not just mine and not just his, but this new thing that we do that I think looks pretty dang good. Like I feel like it has commercial viability, and he makes my stuff oftentimes look way better than I ever would. Um, way more often than not, obviously. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's got education and skill and experience, and I think it looks great. It's just like I said, it's kind of up to him for um, how he wants to proceed. Sean, Sean, have I? I mean, I'm sorry if I have I seen your inking. I get lost, Sean T, on whose work I've seen. Um, that's not I hate to say it depends on how good a person is. You know, I don't know. maybe you may have, and I do apologize if I bet if you did and I saw it, I bet I would remember it if I saw it. But I got so many things kind of going on through my brain all the time. I do apologize if, um, if I did forget. Um, I am pretty picky about how I would like things to look. I'm not objected to seeing what stuff might look like. Um, but this particular project is Chuck's thing as far as inking, unless he decides that he needs to stop or take a break or bow out for any reason. If that comes up, then I would potentially consider someone else's, approach. But it's kind of our thing on at least on this. But I wouldn't mind seeing some other type of stuff just to see what it would kind of look like. To see how it would kind of go. I'm really picky. Um, like the thing that I don't like the most is I hate when I see inking that's digital inks and it just screams this is so obviously digital because there's dead lines or perfectly flat, like somebody inks a straight line on a building, but it's like this razor sharp, perfect computer generated, perfect black line. There's no life to it. There's no energy to it. Somebody just takes the digital device and just puts like a straight line and calls it, this is the line to a building. Chuck goes out of his way, his words, to make his stuff not look digital, to make it look as analog as much as possible. And I think he's one of the best ever. Um, so, um, it's not an impossibility, sir. Hit me up on Instagram and we can chat back and forth. Yeah, Shakula, that's awesome. That guy who did the back cover, I mean, that's the only thing I've seen, but I thought that stuff looked fantastic. Yeah, that guy who did the back cover, he's really good. I liked it a lot. I kind of actually want to see more. Not to, you know, disparage the guy who did the book, the first one, but it, I don't know. If you're not going to go with that guy, the back cover guy, he's cheaper. Yeah, he looked like he was really good. If he could do sequentials, and tell a story. The other guy's too busy. Yeah. Well, it's good that he's keeping busy. I guess he can command such big rates. Whatever that may be. Do I think this thing will come out this summer? Honestly, not this summer. I would say fall, probably at the kind of rate we're going. I would like to get it done as quick as possible, but I've uh, I've been coming out of a slump, kind of creatively, a couple months ago. I just hit a wall, and I couldn't get out, and I think I am now. I've been feeling the vibe and the energy coming back. I'm not pushing for the comic convention because I'm not going to go. I was going to go last time, or I went last time, but it was such a bust financially that I was kind of waffling on wanting to spend that money again. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to go this year. And then getting fucking ripped off and losing all my savings, all my money last week. That put a nail in it. I don't have the money to be able to afford to get a table anyway, and it's probably too late to get a table at this point anyway. So I'm like, you know what? This year I'm skipping it. I'm not saying I'm not going to go back. I'm sure I absolutely will, but this next year, like I was pushing so hard last time to get my Master's End book done by that September convention, I'm not even worried about it. I'm not going to go. I'm just going to set it aside. I don't have the money anymore anyway. So I'm not on a mad, hardcore push to get the book done. But that being said, I do want to get it done and finished and kind of see what comes of it. It is a lot of money, but I can't affect it. You know what I mean? Thanks, Grant. I appreciate it. What's new with you, Grant? What project are you working on now? You're always making stuff. Richard, thank you. Appreciate it. Well, yeah, Grant, you're. I mean, 3 issues in, man. That's making a book. It's a big deal. That's awesome, man. I always like seeing people making the stuff and continuing it. Excuse me. Got to light box the top panel, so instead of working on this, go. No, Grant. Actually, I I've said before, like, pitch the hell out of stuff. Make it known. I don't mind. I'd prefer people talk about their shit and what they're doing. Well, I gotta step away for like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
Good choices. After all, they bought you this one to step into big shoes and still walk on your own path. To all which are life built. Rock solid determination. To think ahead of it, so that one day you can follow your heart. The ambition is that you make someone who elevates your life to a craft that can be seamlessly within the
All right, I'm back. Grant, how's my week been? It's someone else kind of asked that earlier. I was saying that it's a difficult or a different difficult question to answer. My shit has sucked, and it just keeps sucking. But I'm alive. I'm drawing. I got my keys this weekend, so I guess everything could be worse. No, you're fine. It was a little while ago. the pony hawk haircut on which guy? The guy with like the 3 braids, or the which one are we talking about? Oh, hey, Chuck. Yeah, I'm fiddling with it, trying to make it worthy. Gotta finish the backgrounds here and everything, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. Marshall, shut the fuck up. Oh, don't worry. I've done plenty of pages that didn't have any backgrounds, and that was kind of intentional, but then I'm making sure to throw in actual backgrounds. You know, there's parody, and then there's jerking yourself off. Well, thanks, Chuck. I mean, I try to keep things like that in mind and keep it visually exciting. I see things that inspire me, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to draw. Then I sit down, and I'm like, I can't produce the kind of stuff that I know I have in my head or I want to see. It's a struggle. Yeah. I mean, it's just a learning process. I just constantly wonder, what is that magic little it factor that I'm missing that other artists had that are so good at so young, and here I am at 48, and I'm still trying to figure out the basics. You know, just some people just have that natural thing where they just get it from. Well, thank you, Chuck. I mean, I appreciate when anybody, has something positive to say, but it kind of carries a little more weight when it's coming from you, considering what you've done and what you've seen. That means a lot. A lot of my pushing to make it look better is I've said this, is to do honor to you, sir. For all the stuff that you've done and helped me with, and kind of helped push me forward. So plus, I was super inspired by those Liefeld pages we saw on that Youngblood stuff that Jason was sharing earlier. My God. Like, what is going on there? I ordered my copy, though. That makes sense to me. Earlier in the live stream here, somebody was asking me if I'd taken any life drawing classes. Dude, you can't support work that poor. I know. I'm only getting it because I got a channel to talk about it. That's the only reason. I would never pay that much otherwise. But there was a guy that asked me if I'd ever taken any life drawing classes, and I said I haven't, and I kind of wish that I had, and I beyond just high school shit. And then he kind of mentioned that David Finch, for example, had never taken art classes. And then Mike McMahon was in the chat. I don't know if he's still here, but he mentioned that, but working at Top Cow probably helped. And I was kind of saying that, yeah, if you're in an environment like that, surrounded by that level of artists and that guy running the studio, Silvestri, I would imagine you can't help but get better. Like you know, like what you're saying. What happens in a big part of a studio, you want to impress others, and that is, I feel that, especially, you know, working with you, Chuck, and then combined with having a channel where I am actually showing my work. I'm like, I better step up my game to do the best I can do, so I can at least not feel completely embarrassed. You know, so there's a certain amount of like wanting to do the best so you don't embarrass yourself, and wanting to, can I be better than the other guy? Maybe not, but at least, you know, you're trying for it. Well, Shocula, I did use it because I did want it. I do appreciate that. And I found it for half the price that somebody, that I was told that they saw it for. I actually just went to his own personal website and found it for like a copy of it for like $20 rather than 40. So, and then if the video does well, the ad revenue pays me back a little. So I don't get huge views, you know, but that is a part of it. So it all kind of feeds itself. Chuck, you don't want everyone else in the studio having any room to talk you down. Everyone wanted a spot in a studio like that. There's a dozen guys out there that would kill for that spot. Right, yeah. That makes sense. You know, that's why I would imagine guys, you know, like Finch, probably, you know, I'm sure like all of them, probably, for the most part, everyone consider themselves lucky to have that opportunity, and just avail themselves of the learning environment and the teaching you can get from the guys who were there that are the old timers. Um, just, yeah, makes sense. Assuming you could get any damn work done from all the clowns jumping around, shaking your inking table, and not letting you get any good work done because they're shaking the goddamn floors. Lots of Nerf wars and those spring guns that shot plastic discs. find any music, I'm interested. You used to break them open and tighten the springs so it would make the disc sting like a bitch when they hit you. Oh man, that's hilarious. That's perfect. Oh. We're like, we're not fucking around. That's awesome. I should do the same thing and just do it with my kids. I'll fuck them up. I'll show them that their daddy knows how to play, like, soldiers and war and shit. Like, here's your Nerf gun, kids. I got mine. But mine's a rapid-fire minigun. It'll light you up, kids. I might be old, but I got the experience, you little shits. No, this is the Red Coyote character. Just trying to make him look like an insane douchebag. Jim had this huge full-size arcade Tekken machine. Tekken, man, that was awesome back in the day. I remember loving going to the arcade when that was actually a thing, and playing the hell out of Tekken. I like the original Mortal Kombat, but nothing's kind of ever matched that first one for me, and I kind of got bored with the subsequent ones. And I like the original Street Fighter 2, but Tekken, I don't know. I loved that one. That one was my jam for a long time. Brand new in '94, yeah. I'm trying to remember which character it was I liked to play in Tekken. I can't. I gotta do a search. Oh, I remember. Yeah, I think I played the old dude. Wang? That was his name? Anyway, yeah. You wanna let your mic first, even though they have to fucking rock like even grass first. It's all good with these things, taste places, providing fucking bases, so we're coming all faces. You're not just telling me you wanna let your mic first, even though they have to fucking rock like even grass first. Cause I'm a mission like a 007. I will never let a sucker go on and I'ma get it. You'd sworn off video games by that point? I'm old enough to remember the nice simplicity of the old arcades and the basic games, like the sounds of Tron and Pac-Man and Asteroids just echoing through this dark room with these glowing lights. And man, as a kid, that shit was like magical to me. It was so fun, especially because, like I've said before, when I was growing up, we were so fucking poor. It was so rare whenever we got to do that stuff. So it stood out as this incredible like thing to get to do. Yeah, that makes sense, Chuck. When you're working for a page rate, there is no spare time. Anytime you're not drawing, you're losing money. Yeah, that makes sense. No video games, yeah. You know what, Chuck? You say you wouldn't own a game system for. You know what? Honestly, I'm kind of the same way. I avoided buying game systems. The last game system that I ever bought was a Super Nintendo. To put in context of how long ago it was, because they got to be so expensive and there was so much time that I'm like, even when I was younger in my early 20s, I was like, I'd rather be drawing than playing a video game that I could barely afford in the first place. And to this day, people will ask me, they're like, are you a gamer? I'm like, no. I do have access to a PlayStation 4, not the newest one. And I do play Grand Theft Auto Online as just kind of like a decompression kind of thing, just to kind of just fart around. And I did play Red Dead Redemption 2, and it was especially with Red Dead Redemption 2 that I could see how these games are so immersive, they'll just suck you in. And so I'm like, everyone's like, you should play this game. I'm like, no, I don't want to play that game because I don't want to get sucked into it and be like coming home from work. I'm like, I got to sit down and play a video game for hours when I would rather be at my table drawing, creating something. So I actively and specifically choose to not buy new games or game systems. But I do dabble in GTA Online. And I did play Red Dead Redemption 2 all the way through once. I remember having the original Atari, played the hell out of some Asteroids and some of those basic games. I did buy a Game Boy as a kid. I saved up like $110 to buy an original Game Boy, and I got a lot of hours of enjoyment out of that as a 14 or 15-year-old, whatever the hell I was. Yeah, you need to get that dopamine rush from activities that get you closer to your goals rather than distracting you away. Yeah, that's kind of... I pieced that together on my own somehow. Years ago, I'm like, I'd rather be drawing. Found a Dreamcast. Yeah, I never had any Segas of the old school stuff. I was always a Nintendo guy. Shocking that you had to quit video games costing you way too much money. I get it. They're incredible. They're awesome. They're amazing. And, I sit there and I'm like, well, you wonder why kids don't want to read fucking comic books. when you can turn on a video game that has music and drama and action and adventure? Why would they want to read X-Men? You know, that's what it seems to me. Plus, I know some people, a very close friend of mine talks often how her husband is always up playing video games. And she wishes that he'd just come and sit down next to her and not be doing that. Yeah, women don't really dig the gamer lifestyle either. Anything that competes with them for your attention is frowned upon. Yeah. If you're gonna be gaming and you're in a relationship, you better balance that shit out and make time, you know. Shocula, that's one of the reasons why your wife and I split. Shit. Psy Brick Shop, what is up? Even if they don't really want your attention, they just don't want you giving your attention to anything else. Not Real Alexander. Did you hear Rob Liefeld produced a new Youngblood book, I think 2 days ago? Well, he didn't just produce it. He's been talking about it for a long time. But yeah, and I actually ordered my copy today. One of my other buddies got his copy in the mail and was sharing it, and I was like, oh my god, this is awful. I have to order one. I've got a channel. I got to talk about it. I got to have a massive rant about it. Respectfully rant. You think they should make official motion comics to get people into I mean, I don't know if that would work. I mean, would it? I've seen some motion comics. I haven't cared for a single one I ever saw. It doesn't work for me. Where you take panels from the comic and just put it sort of in motion. I'm like, just make an animated series, which obviously is way more of an investment. I do get that, but me, motion comics don't do anything for me, but I'm an old timer, you know. Yeah, some of the every motion comic I've seen, I shut off after a few minutes. I'm like, because the voice acting always sucks, and I don't know how to make it right. But like having an actor speak lines is so much better than a motion comic. I don't know. They don't work for me. But if they work to bring more people into the medium, then I would support that 100%. Chuck, lots of comic artists have that problem too. You're constantly telling people they have to leave you alone because you're on a deadline, even if it's your job and it's paying the rent. People take you pushing it away as personal on some level. You know, I remember I was a reason to pick up the old DVD of the original Ben Affleck Daredevil movie is there's some supplemental material where they interview a whole bunch of artists, and they talk to a bunch of classic Daredevil artists, and it was I think it was Gene Colan, however you say his name. They were talking to him, and he was an old guy at that point, and he was saying that I was watching it back. And when did that movie come out? Oh, 5 or 6 or some shit. He was saying in their interview, he says that you have to dedicate a lot of time to this craft if you want to be good at it. And he says at the expense of almost everything else. And he made a kind of an allusion in that interview that he lost time with his family and he actually regretted it. You could see and kind of tell. I don't know if he directly specifically said it. I think he might have. But he was expressing regret that he spent so much time at the drawing table that he was not spending with his family, and his art choice style cost him family time, and that was rough. So yeah, that's hard. Yeah, Sai breaks up the voice acting sucks. If they get good voice actors, they would be good and cheaper than animation. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know. It's just a shift in kind of cultural interest, like what people are interested in seeing, and it just comics. I mean, I don't think they'll ever go away, but I just keep saying the audience is aging. I don't see how many young people are getting into it. I mean, I'm sure there's some, but the percentage is just so much smaller because there's other places to take kids' attention, and people don't give a shit about comics. It used to be like one of the few places kids could get cheap, disposable, entertaining, fun, even dare I say educational entertainment. They don't need comic books anymore, you know? Screw his family. We got Tomb of Dracula. Worth it. Somebody get his wife on the phone. I want to tell her, fuck off. Make him feel regret. You guys are great. And Avengers and Captain America and Daredevil. Yeah. Yeah, they can't go away. Cybrick Shop says they can't go away because people still like the media based on comics. And they know that even if they don't read the actual comic. That's the problem. Is like people, yeah, you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe was a juggernaut forever. I mean, they've fucked it up now. And they're trying to salvage it. But people like Captain America and Iron Man and all these characters, but the percentage of people that go out to seek the original source material works, I'm sure there's some, sure, but it's not like, I mean, no. Every time I see anybody talking about it, they're like, these movies don't move the needle on comic sales. You know, not in a way that matters. Colan, maybe the first person to draw Falcon, maybe. That's interesting.
Meet Myra, Lowe's all-new AI-powered home improvement help.
You either die a great comics creator or you live long enough to see yourself become Mark Waid. Zing. I don't know, what is even Mark Waid doing anymore? Whenever I think of him, I'm just like, oh, he did Kingdom Come, and I enjoyed the hell out of that back in the day, but it's another book I will get on the channel at some point. there's one thing that I've taken from listening to creators talk about stuff. Um, I guess what I was going to say is that if I ever had any kind of success that people saw my stuff, I've learned like I ain't going to talk about any, I'm just going to talk about the art and the fun, the joy of making comics, and leave my personal politics and shit at home. It ain't no one's business, because I've actually gotten sick of a lot of creators that I like based on the rants they make on social media. You know, I'm like, I ain't here for that. I'm here to read your funny books and have a good time. You know, so I understand being passionate about something, and if you're in a financial position where you can afford to lose a fan base, then good for you. But my happy ass is like, I mean, I got my opinions on world events and shit, but hey, no one's business but my own. And we're here just to talk comics and art and have fun and make jokes and just enjoy ourselves. Let the world fucking fall apart elsewhere. Let's have some fun here. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I've already kind of lost some close friends over current political stuff, or I just keep my mouth shut because I know that if I said this, that, or the other, some people would suddenly like, oh, we're not friends anymore. I'm like, all right, that's all right, good. You know, let's not do that. Let's make comics and art and have fun. Like for example, I'm kind of sick of Eric Larson's shit. Uh, I, you know, I love Dragon, but I don't want to listen to his. I'm ready to drop his book. I've been collecting it since day one. I'm like ready to be done with this fucking comics. I realize I don't even read them anymore. I buy them, I flip through them to see what fucked up shit he throws in there this time. The art's kind of, you know, it's what he does. I kind of dig it, but I'm just like, I'm not even reading these anymore. Why am I buying them? It's like an unbroken line to my childhood, and the only series I've collected since day one, and I'm struggling to let it go. Um, and I'm talking about just the work itself, separate of the nonsense coming from the creator's mouth, and that's making it even harder. So I'm like, ugh, had enough. So it's kind of driving it away. Yeah, life's too short to be pissed off all the time. Yeah, yeah. Well, I've liked Eric Larson forever. I like his art. I like his approach to comics. I've always liked his sense of humor, but ugh. Yeah, as D-Man said, life is too short to be mad all the time. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and being passionate about something, like I get it. Um, I just feel like if you're in the creative sphere, you've got an audience. I mean, I guess you could call yourself a sellout if you want to keep your mouth shut to retain your audience, but I need income. You know, not that I get income from this, but that's the goal. Um, that's what I want. And why risk that over? Let's discuss current insanity of the universe that's highly divisive. Let's just not talk about that. Let's talk about how awesome these set of tits are on this hot chick that Mark Silvestri drew. Isn't that awesome? I'd rather talk about that all the time than anything in current world politics. So, anyway. like Bagley's run on Spider-Man too, and he put in a lot more time. His Ultimate Spider-Man run, I think, is fantastic. I love that. I collected every issue. You like Ryan Otley's Spider-Man art? You know what? Otley's fantastic. I've met him. I've talked about this. I've actually met him in person. When he got started on Invincible, I found out that he actually lived in Utah, and I hit him up and asked him if I could come visit him, and he said yes. He let me come over to his house on his earliest issues. He's fantastic. But it's another situation for me personally of once he was done with Invincible, his artwork wasn't enough to make me want to pick up a book. I picked up Spider-Man when he started it for several issues, and it was his work. It was good, but I'm like I'm not into it, and so I gave it up. But Otley's great, nice guy, hard worker. Chuck says this is a genre of escapist fiction. Don't fuck it up by introducing too much real world bullshit. It defeats the whole point. Yeah. You know. And some people live in the sphere of like intentionally talking about the divisive, controversial shit. And good, that's their that's their bread and butter. That's great, but some of us are just trying to get into it and like do something that we love and make a little bit of a living at it. And the world is losing its collective mind, so. Oh, Side Brick Shop, this is 20 years ago. This was 22 years ago or some shit like that. I'm talking Otley was on his first dozen issues of Invincible or whatever. My YouTube channel's only existed for 2 years. So there's no YouTube channel. I just saw that there was an Image comic that, there was hype about this book called Invincible. And they got a new artist because the original guy, I forget his name, I'd know it if you said it, he couldn't keep up with the deadlines. So they brought on Otley, who was part of a website that I used to go to, Digital Webbing. They would actually hire people from there. And I saw that Otley lived in Utah. So I just sent him a message somehow. I was like, hey, I live in Utah. I'm an aspiring comic artist. You're amazing. I would just love to see a real comic artist work and talk about stuff. It's embarrassing now to think about that I actually did it. But he said, without a hesitation, he's like, absolutely, come over. He invited me to his apartment where his then wife lived with them, and he had a little drafting table in their living room, and there was pages of Invincible on the board. And I brought some of my absolute fucking garbage own personal work, and he was very humble. I could kind of, looking back, I can tell he was looking at it going, ew, this is rough. How do I tell this guy who's very nice that he's no good? Yeah, Corey Walker was the guy. Corey Walker's great. He just, I'm not saying it to be rude, but he could not keep up with the deadlines. That's what happened. So, yeah, sorry, I'm just catching up on chat. But yeah, Otley was awesome. And then we ran into each other in various comic shops. There was a 24-hour comic book day. He was sitting there drawing at. He remembered my name. He was at a local comic convention a couple years ago. He stopped going to the local conventions. I honestly think he's too big for him. I don't think he cares. He travels out of state and out of country to go to conventions. He was in like Italy or some shit recently. So I don't know. But he remembers my name even years later. He'll see me and he'll be like, Rob, right? I'm like, yeah, dude, what's up? And he even threw me a free copy of a book one time. Nice dude. I kind of want to like see if I can run across him again. Like, hey, do you remember me? I have a YouTube channel. Would you do an interview? It's not impossible to imagine. So, but Ali, neat dude. And he's financially doing well. Like, he bankrolled a restaurant here locally. Um, whether it's just him or some friends, like, he's investing, taking money, because Kirkman threw his creative teams a lot of cash. Fucking damn. Yeah, Kirkman took care of his crew on Invincible. Otley said that the sales kept going up and up and up, and Kirkman would not take any money from Invincible because he was so already wealthy from The Walking Dead. He took care of his art team for Invincible, and so gave all the profits to penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, blah 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 blah. And like, what a fucking badass, you know. I will always respect Kirkman for if for nothing else for that, because he doesn't have to. He writes it, he created it, he willed it into existence. But it's like he recognized this is successful because I've got an art team that is consistently putting the book out and making it possible for all of us. So he's like, you guys get all the money. He's like, I don't need it. He's already doing great. And like, who does that? So respect to him for that. Did I hear of the YouTuber Matt? That's kind of vague. I don't know who that is. Is Invincible the highest selling Image comic? I mean, well, Invincible's been canceled for years, but from what they talked about, it was a constant, like the sales, they said, kept going up and up and up with every issue. It kept getting bigger and bigger. And I'm sure it plateaued at some point, but it was always high. But none of that shit ever reached like ultimate sales level of like original Image Comics era, like millions of, a million copies every issue. I actually super love the cartoon. I'm shocked, and I love it in big part because they're sticking to the comic so completely and totally. Um, like, it's so fucking awesome to see a comic animated adaptation specifically adhere to the existing written stories, because it's not like Batman that's been written for decades upon decades, and how do you tell the one Batman story? It doesn't exist. But with Invincible, there is one story by one writer, and they are telling that story, and I actually freaking love it. So I'm hardcore on board. No, yeah, if you're talking about Invincible, the comic never was canceled. Otley wanted to quit. He'd kind of, and this is just his, he said this, that he kind of was kind of done drawing it, and he kind of wanted to branch out. And so I guess he floated the idea to Kirkman of, what would you think about me moving on? And Chuck, it is late, brother. I'll catch you. I'll catch you later, dude. Thank you for stopping in, man, as always. But yeah, Otley said he wanted to be done, and so as I understand it, according to what I read, Kirkman said, "Okay, how about this, Ryan? Rather than you quit and we give the book to somebody else, would you be willing to stay on for a little bit and we'll end the book? We will tell the final story and do the final issue and end it, even though it's a hot seller." He's like, I don't want to continue the book with anybody else. You're the artist. This is our book. So let's just end it. And from what I understand, Otley was like, okay, yeah. And he did. He hung on and got to tell the wrap-up story of Invincible, and then they just ended it. It wasn't canceled because it was failing. They just ended it because they're done. They're like, fuck it, kind of like Walking Dead. They just ended that book because they decided to, not because of sales, because they're like, we're gonna go out being the best. Chris McWilliams, how's it going? I get it, Adam. You say you can't get into it. I get it. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I love how brutally violent they go because that's what happened in the comic, and that's what these superhero slugfests would be like. Like, this shit isn't like all like people die. That Superman or the Death of Superman comic versus Doomsday. Like, how many civilian casualties were there? Or these superhero movies, like, people would be dying left and right. And I like that Invincible in the comic and the animated series, they have the balls to show, like, these people die horrifically in the wake of these battles of these monstrous superpowered assholes. And I couldn't wait for Conquest to show up. I was telling my roommate, just wait, Conquest. That's all I'm going to say. And when he showed up, I'm like, oh my God, please let this be as awesome as it was in the book. And they fucking, like, made it just as awesome. And if you know the comic, like the Viltrumite War coming up eventually, oh, it's going to be so good. If they just keep doing what they're doing, I can't wait. Yeah, Conquest. Battle Beast. Hell, even Otley's coming back to do a Battle Beast, at least one issue. I don't know if it's a one-off or like a mini-series, but Kirkman and Otley are coming back to do a Battle Beast comic. I've got it reserved. Yeah. Battle Beast was awesome in the comic when they introduced Thrag. I think that's his name. The leader of the Viltrumites. There's just so much cool stuff coming up. And even my roommate got into it, and I was like, do you want to know what happens? I've got the entire fucking comic series. Like, you can read ahead. She's like, I actually might want to read the comics. I'm like, I've got them. Yeah, Battle Beast, he's great. And they made him work. And it seems like he's as popular or more so popular than even he was in the comic. Like, people are digging this Battle Beast. I'm like, he was pretty damn popular in the comic. Like, everyone wanted to see more of that guy. Just this giant cat monster who just wanted to fight. And he's fucking pissed when everyone's too weak to fight him. He's insulted. And all he wants is someone to beat the piss out of him and challenge him. Like, give me a challenge. All right, Side Brick Shop. Thanks for stopping in. Mark, what's up, dude? I can't remember the name. I gotta double check. I know Thrag is one of the names of those Invincible characters, but I gotta make sure I'm thinking of the right guy. Yeah. Yeah, once he gets introduced, like the leader of the Viltrumites. Looks specifically like an overly muscled Freddie Mercury. It's badass. He ends up wearing a pelt. Is that a spoiler? Man, Otley nailed the shit out of it. But yeah, Mark, dude, what's up, man? Finishing page 41 tonight, speedrun. You start your new job on the 29th. Oh, that's awesome, man. Oh, you like the Mignola video? Your favorite is the Dracula stuff? Yeah, Dracula was great. I don't have the alien stuff. I'm aware of it. I haven't actually seen it myself. I don't own it, but that's another one of those I'm definitely going to seek out somehow, sometime. Trying to collect up all the what I consider to be the good Mignola stuff. I did pick up that Cosmic Odyssey stuff, like I was saying in the video, and having flipped through them, I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is his best art, but several people have told me they think that's his best stuff, and I disagree, respectfully. Buy a new pencil sharpener. You really like that artwork more than the Hellboy stuff. That's interesting. It's, like I said, it's good, but for me, I guess it's just a personal taste, obviously, of the use of heavy shadows, which just does not exist in the Cosmic Odyssey stuff. And that's just kind of like one of those defining things that Mignola does that I feel like he does so much better than anybody else. The story felt cheesy. So yeah, so I'm kind of worried about trying to read it and just going like, I'm not into it. But I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a fair attempt. I try to give every one of these comics a fair, all right, I'll try. But if it can't hold my attention, I'm going to bounce. I've got to reread Batman Year One. I've got that. I've been revisiting the Dark Knight Returns, which I'm like, oh yeah, this is still good. Well, it's been over 2 hours, and I guess I better go remind my kids that, I love them and shit, so. What's on tomorrow's docket for my channel? I kind of forget. Oh, right. I got the entire McFarlane Torment series. I got all 5 issues, so I kind of flipped through all of them. The first 5 issues, the first storyline McFarlane did of his own series. That'll be fun, hopefully, maybe, right? I don't know. Thanks, Mark. I've been kind of struggling with it, but like there's things about it I'm like, all right, I like what I've done, but then there's other parts where I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, I just got to finish like he's using magical technology to manifest a laser gun, so it's like teleporting into his hand, so I got to kind of draw in that, how I'm going to do that, and then backgrounds of the one character who this guy just slugged and sent him flying off into the tree, so I got to put that character crashing into a tree back here and draw the rest of the forest around him, and then this page is basically done. Then I'll be lightboxing this one probably this weekend, tomorrow or something. Anyway, I guess I'll shut it down, guys. Thank you, everyone, as always. Mark, thanks for jumping in at the last minute. I probably should have put up a Discord notification like you told me to do before. Like, hey, let me know, man. Sometimes I just kind of forget, and I just sit down and turn on the phone and just go. But anyway, thank you, everybody. As always, I got a good group of people that follow my dumb shit, and I appreciate you all. So, thanks, guys. I will see you probably tomorrow.